How is everyone doing? This is Joe with Ohio Wood Burner, and we have just come out of this monsoon, man. It was pouring down rain. I was delivering firewood this morning in it. It has since gone through, but it was hard rain. This was our very first rain in a long time. Well, I guess you can say we've been in a drought. Well, not as much as a drought, but I mean, it hasn't rained for a really long time. Grass is dead. The ground is hard as a rock. For late September, I really haven't had that big burst of cold yet. We really even haven't had a cold morning, but man, my phone isn't cold. It has been hot, ringing, ring, ring, ring. Well, sales are way up. This is the biggest September I have ever had. Sales are up. My sales are up overall. Well over 20% from the previous year, and I think that's largely because of this Woodyard. I've actually had more supply than I've ever had, and I've got more firewood right now than at one time than I have ever had at one time. We're loaded up for a delivery tomorrow. My second truck is already loaded and it's back at the house. It's been paying off already. It's running. It seems to run. But you know how, like you say, I think, well, what the heck, I said it. Me having a second truck just means it's 4 more tires to be flat, another battery to be dead. What do you know? My first time out with it, I came back with a flat tire. I ran into something that didn't agree with the tire, but I was able to patch it. We are loaded, and I'll give you a quick tour of the Woodyard. And there's a couple cool things going on. Well, the one you should already know about, the Paul Bunyan show. My rows are full, and this wood's been sitting here for a while. Guys, this yard, it's hard packed gravel, and it used to be a bulk yard. There is no shade at this yard, and the ground just radiates heat. Man, the wood really dries out fast here. And that is the name of the game, at least for me, is I sell seasoned firewood and I charge accordingly. I've been getting a lot of calls, and my calendar's getting pretty full, and that's residential. The restaurants, I can just predict when they're going to hit. They've been consistent all summer, well, all year. And I had, looking back upon it, I think it was my April, guys, was my biggest month ever. April. I can't explain it, but it's true. This is what I call Cherry Street. This is 2 rows of cherry going that way. These are those pallets that Dale from the Firewood hut gave me. And these were from a casket company. So we know who to blame if my sales happen to die. But thanks, Dale. Check out his channel. But this is all cherry. I separate my cherry. It's a premium species around here. And whenever I get a cherry log that's mixed in with everything else, I set them off to the side, and I'll run a straight cherry load on the 405, and I just stack it separate. When we first set up this yard, I just had an abundance of cherry, and we just started stacking it with everything else. And now I wish I wouldn't have done that, but that's how it goes, I guess. This is the oldest of my season, and this is what's been going out, and that's where the last load that went to a restaurant, that was a cord that was taken out. And so now we're setting it up. This is my green, which will be chasing that. But the yard is pretty full, so I've started stacking firewood in a new area. And it's hard for me to claim a new area for stacking, because then I think, well, what if I want to put something else there? And I calculated all this in my head, and I just finally said, we're putting it there. So up here we're walking up to the 405, and I'll show you where we're stacking the new green split firewood. But this is that load of hickory that has come in, and I'm not gonna touch this until winter time. I'll show you why around the corner. And this is all oak. I bought a half a load off of a logger, and a lot of the white oak came in. It's kind of crooked though, but it's such a good looking wood. It's hard to turn it down. This is my pile with all of the maple, everything else that goes in here. I moved the oak over here. That helps when I run the machine. I don't put oak in with nothing but oak. It gets stacked. This area over here is what I call Oakland. And you know, oak's a 2-year drying process, so you can't mix it in with everything else if it was all split at the same time. But here is what I am talking about hickory. Can you tell me where a hickory log accidentally got put in this pile and had laid across all of these others, and it just filled it with sawdust? Those bugs just got in here and just chew little tiny holes in it, and that's what hickory does. It's just gross. And then like when it rains like this, it turns to paste. Ugh. My one daughter, she won't even stack hickory because it's like powdery and it gets all over you and it makes you itch, and she don't like it. If it wasn't for the smell, and hickory, I'm serious guys, is intoxicating, I wouldn't want to mess with it. It's a tough wood. It's hard on chains. It's tough to split. It's stringy, but man, does it smell good. And wow, you know, it's good firewood too. I understand it spits when you burn it, but it's a high BTU wood. Here is the 405. I was going to oil the strands on this live deck, but I had this big log, and I don't get real big logs at this wood yard, but I saved this one because I was going to run it as a short through the 405 because I think it would look cool. So I have it set on here. Now I can't oil this until I get this. I like to oil it and let it sit. I don't want to put wood on top of it after I just oil it. But I save a couple skinny logs before each run, and that helps the 405 wake up. I have always said it's a cold-hearted machine. It takes a while for the hydraulics to loosen up on it. But once it gets going, man, it doesn't stop. The 405 has just been awesome, guys. It doesn't quit. It makes just beautiful firewood. Consistent, world class. I cannot think of a more perfect firewood processor for what I do. Ooh, there's a nice shot. Than the Japa 405. This is my kindling. I harvest all of the kindling out of this container, which gets sorted out by this disc cleaner, and I just greased this. This cleaner has, I think, 720 some grease fittings on it. It's an all-day job to grease that. It helps when you have a second person to help. This is the fines that come off the Perfect Clean conveyor, the shaker grate. If you were a split and sell company, this would be a great machine for you because it sorts out the small stuff here and then the bigger chaff, the chunks that come out from there. And the sawdust extractor blows it into here, and that works really good. I have a video upcoming of a clean out that I did. I do like a pre-trip inspection before any time I run it, and then at the end of the month I'll clean out and dump all those totes, but we also clean out from underneath it and keep it clean. It helps you see if it springs a leak, and we do all the adjusting on it. You got to stay on top of those belts. We still have the Japa 315. I have those skinny logs. I'm going to be putting them all together for a run with this. Maybe I'll get a video of this thing in action. This is really neat machine. And this is the new area where I'm stacking the new splits, and this is all on the pallets that Dale brought me. So they're all 9 feet long. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 pallets right here, so 6 times 9 is how long these rows are in there. And there are 2 rows. I've just been stacking it like this. It works great. I never get mold. The wood dries out great. There's no bugs. All the bugs leave. And I've been stacking this myself, or my high school helper stacks it. He is a very hard worker, and it really makes loading up the truck so much easier. You are when you do broadside load, you can get it loaded up pretty fast. These are my offcuts, so these were all cut from the Japa, and these will be forked into my truck and taken over to my woodshed. I need to get busy on that, especially if we get all this rain coming in, because right now the ground is hard as a rock. And with my trucks, the two-wheel drive trucks, they will get stuck on flat pavement in July. They get very, very poor traction. I'll have customers in the fall, you know, when it's been raining, and they'll say, hey, can you drive this into the back of my yard and stack it? And I says, bud, you're risking it. You're gonna get tired of looking at my truck come April when it's been spending the whole winter there, because it gets stuck and that's it. It'll just spin that one tire until Christmas time. World's greatest wheelbarrow, the AM Leonard. I'm not exaggerating. World's greatest wheelbarrow. If you're looking for a wheelbarrow, that's it right there. 6 cubic foot steel tray, steel handle. Love that thing. So here's what's going on, guys. We're getting into the beginning of October, and we're going to have an employee of the month being named. That's very suspenseful. I hope I can win it this month. But that also means the Paul Bunyan Show, which is the first weekend of October in Cambridge, Ohio at the Guernsey County Fairgrounds. I will be there. So Metsa Machines has just announced I will be at their tent on Saturday from noon until 2. If you're in the area, stop on in and let's hang out. I will be there and along with the new manager. His name is Ken. He's a very nice man. I hope that you get to meet him. I'll introduce you to him. And the Finns will be there. If you know my friend Lowry, he's made an occasional appearance in my video. He is a really nice man. Very passionate about firewood, very knowledgeable about these machines. So I'll be excited to introduce you to him. And I think he's coming with 3 others who I have not met yet, but I'm kind of excited to see him. So he is also over the Hacky Pilkey and the Pallets machines, which are all, those 3 companies are owned by TP Silva. And they will be there. And I think I'll be stopping down at the Pallets booth to hang out down there with John. He is from Montreal. His company is called Hackmet, and they import the Pallets. Metsa Machines imports the Japa to the United States. And I'm kind of excited to be down there again. Let's hope for some nice weather. I don't know if I'll be there on Friday. I have some family responsibilities that remains to be seen, but if I can get down there, I will. But definitely Saturday I'll be there. If you're there, come down to the Japa tent around noon and come down and see me. Bring a Dr. Pepper too. And that gets to the last thing, guys. So I have been asked to be a speaker at the Power of 50 Career Summit. This is an event in Cleveland, but it's also going to be live streamed. And this is being sponsored by the Over 50 TV channel, which is on YouTube. The personality from that, his name is Lou Reyes. He's from the Cleveland area, and he's networked. He belongs to a lot of these organizations that deal with starting up business, over 50 employees, you know, all that kind of stuff. He is highly networked, and they're all going to be there. If you are in the area, stop in and say hi. But there's going to be a panel. There'll be a panel discussion. There'll be other speakers too. But he said, hey, Joe, I need a keynote speaker. And I says, yeah, really? He says, yeah, do you know anyone you can recommend to me? And I says, well, Lou, I don't know. Do you need someone who's over 50? Yes. Do you need someone that has experience in turning his side hustle into a career? He says, yeah, but I need someone who's a YouTuber though. And I says, Lou? He says, no, Joe. He says, I would love to have you be the keynote speaker. I said, I would love to do it. He says, I want you to speak about turning your side hustle into a career, into a business. I had to feel free to talk about the YouTube thing, and we'll open it up for a question and answer session. I says, I'd love to do it. So guys, it is this Saturday. This is September the 28th at, I think it goes from 9 to noon Eastern time. If you're going to show up in person, I think I speak around 10. I will put all of the details of this event in the description, and there's a link to register if you want to watch online. And maybe bring a full cup of coffee so I don't put you to sleep. You know, I need all the help I can get. So that is what I've got going on from the Woodyard here right at the end of September 2024 going into October. Residential's heating up, guys. The trucks are loaded. We're making deliveries every day, and I'm still trying to get these piles down making room for some more logs that are supposed to come in. That remains to be seen. So I hope you enjoyed this, and check out the description. I'll have the links for everything that we talked about in there, and I hope everyone has a great day.